welcome to our lecture series on Indian ethos in management, and today we are going to discuss about forward engineering for strategic gearing. This is going to be part 1 of our lectures on forward engineering for strategic gearing. Now at times my learners ask me, sir, what exactly this forward engineering is all about and why do we need strategic gearing? So, my dear learners, keeping in mind that very curiosity and or eagerness of our learners, I thought it very appropriate to come up with this lecture on forward engineering, where we are going to find a fine balance between rationality and creativity. Because at time we find them to be competitive in nature, that if you are rational you can't be creative, or vice versa, or if you are creative, then of course you cannot be rational. So here we have to eliminate this differentiation between the rationality and creativity. We have to basically bring them together in this mainstream and think of a situation where we are going to talk about strategic gearing. So, in this very lecture I will be giving you a brief outlook about what exactly this forward engineering is all about, and what is the conceptual framework of it, and then we shall be discussing about the analytical tools into this segment, where we will talk about metric analysis, scenario mapping, fate analysis and SWOT framework, because we have been talking about SWOT analysis, but now it's time to discuss about the SWOT framework, mind pooling for unique solutions, because there are certain problems where which are unique in nature and they require unique solutions, and for that mind pooling comes as a technique. So, how this mind pooling works, that also we will be discussing, and eventually we will talk about the anti benchmarking for creating unique strategic positioning. And the integrative framework of forward engineering is going to be our basic agenda of discussion in this very lecture of mine. So, let us talk about why we actually need this forward engineering. We all know that with the emergence of industrial revolution, and we started considering the factory as a dominant metaphor of economic activity. In that scenario, rationality emerged as the main paradigm of industrial management. So, we can say that rationality is basically the outcome of industrial revolution, where we started regarding factory as a dominant metaphor of economic activity, and this rationality is originating from the industrial revolution, and it has become the main paradigm of industrial management. So, rationality is basically the outcome of industrial revolution, we can say. Although with the arrival of the cyber revolution, that is IT and ITES revolution, and the emergence of services as major economic force, creativity is emerging as a new paradigm. So, on one hand we have industrial revolution, which is giving us rationality as an important as an important paradigm of industrial management, and on the other hand we have arrival of cyber revolution, which is giving us the creativity as an emerging paradigm. So, there are two emerging paradigms, one is called rationality, another is called creativity. And for organizing economic activities and creating new institutions and organizations, this creativity is emerging as one of the most prominent and most emerging paradigm. So, here is a question that can we do away with creativity or this rationality, or we have to go with both of them. So, initially of course, we were actually working with rationality only, we were acting as an economic man. Our all activities were basically focused on economic man theory, and we used to be very rational, we used to be very logical into our decision making process. Whereas, in case of this creativity, emergence of creativity as a new paradigm, now we have to rethink, we have to recraft, we have to redraft the institutions, the formats and business organizations. So, what is needed actually? Whether we need rationality only, or we need creativity only, or we actually need both of them. So, to compete effectively, if you really wish to compete in this globalized world in the marketplace, a paradigm shift from rationality versus creativity to a combination of rationality and creativity is needed. So, the need of the hour is that you cannot do away with either creativity or rationality, because if you are not rational, of course, you will not be able to justify your survival, you will not be able to justify your economic existence. But on the other hand, if you are not creative, of course, competition is going to eliminate you, your competitors will eliminate you. So you require rationality in order to survive as an economic entity. You have to be profitable, you have to generate revenue to survive in the marketplace, and for that rationality is the only way out. But creativity is equally needed. If you are not creative, if you are rational but you are not creative, of course your competitors are there to eliminate you, to push you back, to push you out of the market. So we have to keep this thing in mind, that gone are the days when we used to talk about rationality versus creativity. Now it's a time for combination of rationality and creativity, which is the need of the hour. And here comes the logic or justification for forward engineering. So forward engineering is basically a tool for combining these two paradigms of industrial management, we can say, that is rationality and creativity. So forward engineering based on this new paradigm of fusion between rationality and creativity is there, and it combines both. It combines rational analytic and the intuitive creative approaches in order to find the unique solutions, because we are witnessing the unique problems. To solve those problems, you can't go with the ordinary solutions. Unique problem requires unique solutions, extraordinary situations require extraordinary solutions. So if you really wish to contribute to the emerging scenario, if you really wish to survive in the present scenario in 21st century world, then of course you have no other way but to combine the rational analytic and the intuitive creative approaches, because you have to find the unique solutions for your business problems. So my dear learners, now it is very much by now it is very much clear to you all that this forward engineering is the only way out if you really wish to survive in this 21st century world of competition and excellence, because we are competitive and competition is bound to create excellence. So this excellence is actually giving us best of product, best of services, and here this fusion of rationality and creativity is there to make your organization more robust, more effective and more efficient. So if you really wish to be effective, efficient and robust, this fusion is basically one of the best remedies, you can say. So you can call this forward engineering to be one of the most significant solution to our emerging problem. Now the question comes, how we are going to implement it, how this forward engineering is going to work, because we have been talking about business process re-engineering, where we have been eliminating the redundant processes. We have been doing away with the redundant processes which are of course of no use, in order to reduce the cost and to reduce the time also. But that is basically the re-engineering of entire process. Here we are going to talk about forward engineering, and that too for this strategic synergy, you can say. So the techniques of management improvement system, now we call, now we are no more calling it management information system. Now it is, there is another acronym called MIS, and for this acronym the abbreviation of this, the explanation of this is management improvement system. So to this abbreviation we are finding management improvement system, a system which is going to improve our style of management. So keeping in mind this existing and new capabilities with regard to current and anticipated challenges in this competitive environment, this forward engineering is offering us a foundational premise for the strategic gearing of an organization. When we say gearing, this gearing is going to give us the outcome, the greater outcome in proportion to the input what we are putting in. So gearing factor, we all know that it is going to provide us best of outcomes with less of efforts or least of efforts. So it can be supplemented by various other techniques of management improvement systems. For to name a few, I can call it HRD, that is human resource development. There can be re-engineering, there can be total quality management and many more. So these are there to offer improvement to this entire system of management. So management improvement system, that is why we call it, because whatever we are doing, whatever re-engineering or forward engineering we are doing, that is basically to ensure some kind of improvement in the style of management or in the entire system of management. So it is going to ensure for sure that there is going to be some improvement in either in style or in technique or in terms of the outcome. This improvement is going to be visible. So when we talk about this entire framework of forward engineering, this entire framework of forward engineering is basically a comprehensive one, as well as it is also regarded as an overarching construct, that it is basically one of the best technique available with us in order to ensure the improvement in the management style. Any exercise in forward engineering starts with projecting oneself into the future and then moving back in time. Imagine that it is just like sitting on a time machine, that I am sitting on a time machine and I am just thinking that 10 years down the line where I exactly want to see my organization, my product, my services, whether my products or services would be relevant after 10 years also. So, it is a kind of exercise where we are trying to project ourselves into the future, and then we think that suppose if we really wish to position ourselves like this, we have to come back, we have to move back in time and think today that if I really wish to look like this, if I want my product to be like this, what efforts do I need to make, what kind of efforts which are needed today by my organization, by my team, because it is not going to happen overnight. There will not be any magical presence or any magical entry of your product or your company. You have to work constantly and consistently. So forward engineering is just like standing in front of a mirror, you can say, or sitting in a time machine going forward and then looking at what exactly I need for ensuring my or maintaining my robust presence in the market, whatever situation, whatever market share I am enjoying today, even if I am at the maturity stage of my product life cycle wherein I am actually getting the maximum benefit, how to ensure that my product still remains relevant 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line. So, what changes do I need to make into this entire organization, into my entire production processes, so that by the time I reach to that level, by the time we cross that timeline of 10 years or 20 years or 5 years or so, we are in a position to take up those challenges which would come in front of us after 10 years or 15 years or whatever time frame we decide, and that is why we call it forward engineering. So, to give you a brief summary of it, I would say it is just like sitting on a time machine and projecting oneself into the future, that what would be the projected positioning of my company, my product, my services, and then again we are coming back in present day time and trying to do whatever best is needed to ensure our projected presence in future. So, it is basically it involves creating, imaging, you are creating, imaging, envisioning, anticipatory witnessing and mind pooling for creative solution. So, imagine that you are basically going to be a visionary when you go with this forward engineering. So, it is actually your foresightedness, that you are not waiting for that time to come, you are not waiting for that emergency to come, you are actually preparing yourself for future. So, it is just like preparing your company, your product, your services for future is called forward engineering, and it involves, you all know, it involves lot of envisioning, anticipatory witnessing, and of course, many minds are supposed to work for this if we really wish to have creative solutions to those unique problems. So, those unique problems which can be a kind of unforeseen problems which you have never seen in the past or even at the present, but in future you may witness those problems. So, how to find that solution to those situations, that is basically is going to be the main objective of forward engineering. So, whatever tool or technique we are going to discuss, I will be telling you in due course of my deliberation that these are the techniques of management improvement system. So, in all those techniques you would find that in one way or the other it is trying to find creative solutions for the future problems, or it is actually preparing your organization in one way or the other to face the future challenges. That is what is basically the crux of this entire idea of forward engineering. Now, coming to the analytical tools and the conceptual framework, that what are the tools, how to bring those objectives into the reality, how to transform them into reality. For that we need certain tools, there are certain analytical tools, and of course we do have conceptual framework to deal with this situation where we are going to work for forward engineering. So, analytical tools of forward engineering may be applied to the enterprise level as well as at the industry level. You can apply for your company, or it can be collectively applied for the entire industry to which you belong. And they have been tested by this, whatever I am telling you, they have been tested in some of the selected industries, and there are certain research papers where the authors have published, the researchers have published the outcome of this forward engineering exercise for a specific industry. So, they have been tested by initiating a forward engineering exercise at the policy level for Indian tea industry. Since we are talking about Indian ethos in management, I found an example of Indian tea industry in one of the research papers, and they conducted a study in Indian tea industries and other industries in the context of the new challenges of liberalization and globalization. That with the emergence of liberalization and globalization, earlier the economy used to be a little strict, and it was not very globalized. So, at that point of time, they, since the 1991, we are having liberalization, privatization and globalization as the order of the business, because we believe in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the entire world is our family, and with that vision, with that idea in mind, or as the foremost objective, the authors, they thought of conducting a study on Indian tea industries and other industries in the context of new challenges of liberalization and globalization, what challenges which we are going to face. So, again at that point of time, they considered this liberalization and privatization, globalization to be a new challenge, and they thought of finding a solution to those situations. So, the analytical tools which are used here in forward engineering are metric analysis. I will be telling you one by one what is this metric analysis. Then we have BOW analysis, BOW, we have cinemetrics, we have fate analysis, we have spot analysis, we have anti-benchmarking, and many more are still being added to the body of knowledge by various researchers. So, I am just highlighting some of them just to give you an idea the way this forward engineering is going to work, the way this entire idea of forward engineering is going to be used by the business enterprises or the industries at large. So, these techniques, they offer a new degree of refinement to the conventional SWOT analysis framework, because whenever we talk about strategic management, the conventional analysis framework which comes in front of us is SWOT analysis, wherein we were actually conducting a kind of self assessment of the company by doing strength, weaknesses, opportunities and threats, that what are my strengths as a company or industry, what are the weaknesses my company is having, and within, in the light of these strengths and weaknesses, what opportunities are available, and while availing those opportunities, what can be the possible threat in front of us. So, in strategic management, we have been using this conventional SWOT analysis framework to go for analyzing the situation, that what can be the best situation, what can be the best decision for us while doing the strategic management. So, we can say that these techniques which we are going to discuss in the under the head of techniques for forward engineering, they are basically a kind of refinement to the conventional SWOT analysis. So, in one way or the other, we are again doing the SWOT analysis. I told you at the very outset that imagine your company to be sitting on a time machine, and then you are going forward and looking that what would be my projected positioning, and for that whether I am prepared or not. What can become my strength, and what would be my weakness in that time, in the projected period. So, that is what we are going to do, because SWOT analysis we have been doing for the given scenario. Suppose I am conducting SWOT analysis today, I am doing it for the present day scenario. It was not being done for the future, it was done for the given scenario, wherein we were finding the strength, weaknesses of our company, and then accordingly we were trying to find the best of opportunities, and also how to avoid those threats. Having knowledge of those threats actually helps us in finding the ways and means to eliminate those threats which we may come across while taking business decisions. So, my dear learners, it is a kind of refinement to that strategic management technique, because at times you think that, sir, when we have all techniques of strategic management, what is the point of coming up with a new idea or a new name of what you call as forward engineering? Don't you think it is going to be a jargon only, or it is going to be a new term only for whatever we have been doing? And some of the researchers, some of the students, they feel that it is basically a kind of repackaging of whatever we have been doing in strategic management. Of course it is not that. It's not repackaging, it's a refinement, it's a you can say we are doing some kind of modification into whatever we have been doing. So while doing this strategic management, innovations are considered in the repertoire of strategic management tools. So whatever tools you have in your repertoire, it is basically going to be considered as a kind of innovation in that strategic management kitty what you have. So these tools, they are basically helping you in articulating organizations vision, strategies and action plan, and for that an acronym called VISA is being used, VISA. So VISA is basically used for giving an indication towards vision, strategies and action plan. What is your vision, what are the strategies, and what action plans do you have? So do you have that document with you in place or not, and whether that document is having everything in a smart manner, that is specific, measurable, realistic and time bound. Specific, measurable, actionable, realistic and time bound. So that prerequisite of those organizations vision, strategy and action plan, that need to be smart one. So whether the document is giving you the clear understanding of how to convert your vision into this action plan, or how to convert them, transform them into reality. So these tools are helping us, these tools are of immense help to the business enterprises for articulating this organization's visa. Now forward engineering begins with what? What is the beginning point? How to start forward engineering in your organization? How do we prepare ourselves for future? So forward engineering basically begins with business backbone analysis, which is coupled with capabilities and competence analysis. So a kind of, when we say backbone analysis, what is the role of backbone in human body? We all understand, we all know that it is a backbone because of which we can sit firmly, we can stand, and this backbone is basically helping us in standing, in sitting, in taking stand. So the role what backbone is playing in human body, the same we are going to find in case of business enterprise. So what are my capabilities, what are my competence, that is something which we are going to analyze. And one of the paper which I'll be quoting here, and I have duly acknowledged that at the end of this lecture, that the author, in a conversation with an Indian business family, they learned the native catchphrase of reed ki haddi, that is backbone or business backbone, as a reference to the core business strength. That what is the core business strength, what core strength your business is having, that is your backbone. So in backbone analysis, we are trying to find the core business strengths, which is giving us a reflection of capabilities and competence analysis. So with this concept is when this concept is extended to the corporate context, you can arrive at the idea of backbone analysis. When you are doing the same, when you actually extend this entire discussion or analysis in the context of a corporate entity or the industry, you can arrive at the idea of backbone analysis. So forward engineering basically begins with your capabilities and competence analysis, that what my capabilities are, what competence do my company have. So whatever we have, with that we begin. So in backbone analysis, the focus is on core strengths, and this analysis can further be supplemented by capabilities and competence analysis, wherein the focus is on organizational capabilities and people's competencies in terms of existing and new requirements. So in order to deal with, in order to actually cater to the existing and new requirements, what competencies do my workforce have? So people's competencies in terms of existing and new opportunities, it is basically the core strength of any business. So existing capabilities and competence and new ones are basically listed to identify the gaps. That what are my existing capabilities and competencies, and what are the required one, existing capabilities and the desired one. and then we can find the gap between the two, that this is my, see, this is my existing capability and this is what we actually need after 10 years or 15 years or so, and then we can identify the gap. And along with the backbone analysis, there is an analysis called BOW analysis, BOW, where B stands for barriers, O stands for obstacles, and W stands for weaknesses. So, barriers, obstacles and weaknesses analysis is another analytical tool of forward engineering, which nowadays it is very much popular, because you are not only looking at your weaknesses. In SWOT analysis we were actually looking at weaknesses, but here we are looking at barriers and obstacles also in addition to weaknesses. That is why I told you that it is basically a kind of refinement to the conventional framework of strategic management called SWOT analysis. So, this is a refinement. Here is the point where we find refinement into this. So, while in conventional SWOT analysis the idea of W was indicating weaknesses, it is given due place here. We are not denying to the weaknesses, but the concept of BOW represents a further refinement to the W of SWOT, that weaknesses can be there, but how to deal with barriers and obstacles. So, this is a brief introduction of what I wanted to discuss with you regarding forward engineering. I shall be telling you about different techniques of forward engineering in due course of my discussion. I hope you must have enjoyed this lecture of mine. Thank you so much.